This is my favorite meat sauce, and it goes perfect with just about any pasta shape. I'm gonna show you how to make a large batch of sauce and then how to portion it for the perfect amount of servings, depending on how many people that you wanna feed that day. At the end, I'll show you a cool hack on how to portion and store the leftovers for quick, easy meals when you're craving pasta. To get started, I'm gonna place a large pot onto my cooktop over medium-high heat. Next, I'll add our ground beef and pork sausage to the pot. While it's cooking, I'll add some salt and pepper and use a wooden spoon to break up the meat. Once all the meat's cooked, I'm gonna use a large spoon to remove it from the pot and set that aside. So I have all of the meat taken out of the bowl, and I kept the fat inside, but you can drain this if you wanna save on some calories. I personally like to cook the veggies in that fat, but let me know in the comments if you're team drain the fat or team high cholesterol. Next, I'll add our diced onions, and I'm gonna let them cook for about a minute. Then we'll add our minced garlic, and I'll give that a stir as well. I'll also add our minced green bell pepper. There's something about the green bell pepper that just hits different from the other colors in this particular sauce. Now give that all a mix, and then hit it with a little bit of salt and pepper as well. Cook till the onions start to get a little translucent. So next I'm gonna add the cans of tomato puree, and this is different from tomato sauce. So if you look at all of the ingredients listed on the back of a can of tomato sauce, you'll see that they often add salt, garlic, some other spices, and water to thin it out. If you buy canned tomato puree, it doesn't have any of those added ingredients, and you can fully control the flavor and consistency of your sauce. 100% tomato puree is also a bit thicker, and it has a different consistency than the more watery canned sauces. Once I add all of the cans, I'll add a little bit of water, and you can add as much water as you like to get the consistency that you prefer. I'll also add our dried basil, some dried oregano, some brown sugar, and 3 leaves from the bay. And then I'll add back all of our cooked meat. I was honestly a little worried that this wasn't all gonna fit back in my pot. Oh my gosh. This thing is full. So just do your best to mix this all together. And I know this is a lot of sauce, but just hang out with me for 1 minute and I'll tell you how to portion the perfect sauce to pasta ratio depending on how many servings that you wanna make. I almost forgot to add the tomato paste, so I'll give that a little squirt and 1 final mix. Now once that sauce starts talking, I'm gonna pop the lid on and I'm gonna lower the heat from medium-high to a simmer. And I'm gonna let this cook for about 2 hours. Just make sure to keep an eye on it and stir it occasionally. Before serving, I like to give it a taste test and add more salt and pepper if needed. The pasta that I'm gonna be making today are these huge rigatoni, but go with any shape that you like. I'm gonna bring a large pot of water to a boil and salt the hell out of it. Next, I'm adding a half a pound of pasta. And make sure to stir it so it doesn't stick together. Just keep an eye on it and keep stirring it every now and then. You'll want to cook the pasta for about 2 minutes less than what's recommended on the packaging. Yes, it will be undercooked. I will tell you why in a second. The best way to test the doneness of the pasta is honestly just to take one out and take a bite. Make sure it's cooled down a little bit. Oh, it's hot. It's kind of hot. Take a bite. And you should chew it on the back of your teeth, and it should still have like a little bit of a bite to it. And it's right there, it's done. I'm just gonna throw this back in because this is my pasta. Next, I'm gonna drain the pasta in the least ideal way to avoid having to move all of my lights and camera over to the sink just for this 5-second shot in the video. Also, don't forget to save some pasta water because you're going to need that for later. Now, I'm gonna throw a large pan on my cooktop over medium-high heat, and you can use a pan or a pot for this. And then I'm gonna ladle in some of our cooked sauce into our pan. The perfect ratio of sauce to pasta is 2 cups of pasta sauce per 1/4 pound of pasta. Since I did half a pound of pasta, I'm gonna do 4 cups of pasta sauce. Once the sauce starts to simmer, I'll go ahead and add our half pound of cooked pasta, and then half a cup of pasta water. 1/4 cup of pasta water per 1/4 pound of pasta. I'm gonna give that a few tosses to combine and then let that cook for about 2 minutes or until the pasta is perfectly al dente. Finishing the pasta off in the sauce is a great way to make the sauce stick to the pasta. I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up. Normally I'll use some freshly grated Parmesan cheese when I'm making a fancy pasta dish, but there's just something about that fake Kraft stuff that I love with this sauce. It's something my parents always had and used when I was growing up, and this sauce is also very similar to what my mom would make us all the time when I was a kid. After I finish enjoying my dinner, I usually place the whole pot of leftover sauce into the refrigerator overnight to cool down. The next day, I'll remove it from the fridge and then give it a nice stir. I got a link to these reusable deli containers in the description, and I'm going to use these 16-ounce containers and fill them up with the leftover sauce. I'll pop on the lids and then I can place these into the freezer for up to 3 months. Next time you're craving pasta, you just need to take out one of your big sauce ice cubes and don't defrost them. They pop right out of the deli containers and makes these things super easy to clean. To reheat the sauce, place the sauce ice cubes into a saucepan and then pop on the lid and bring the heat to a low simmer till the sauce starts to melt. Just check on it and stir it occasionally. Then, you just need to cook your pasta just like I did earlier in this video and finish it in the sauce. I'd say a 1/4 pound of dry pasta per deli container, and this is going to make a very large serving for one person. This sauce goes perfect with my cheesy garlic bread recipe, and I'll be sure to put a link to that video in the description along with a breakdown of the sauce to pasta water ratio measurements.